So the third Lead 360 project from 2015 is called The Future Isn't Hungry. That was created by a young woman. She was actually in Honolulu, Hawaii, and her dream was to put packages of food together, not just do a typical old food collection drive, a canned good drive, but really build a bag that had ingredients in it, shelf-stable ingredients for a healthy, good meal. And in that bag also included a recipe card on how to use the ingredients that were in that bag. And then those bags were donated to local food shelves. And that's where she came up with the idea, the future isn't hungry. So locally here, again in the Minneapolis area, we worked with a few partners to do a drive just like that. We actually partnered with an organization called JD Style Group. Jessica, who runs JD Style Group, had this idea. She wanted to get high school groups from all across the Twin Cities to compete in a project around this addressing hunger issues and find out what school could collect the most and impact the most number of hungry people in our community. So I opened it up to the schools I work with through our Students in Action program the last couple of years. And this year we partnered with The Future Isn't Hungry to make it a Lead 360 activation project as well. And the school that collected the most, ended up having the greatest impact through a partnership with the Minnesota Vikings, had a couple of Minnesota Viking players come out to their school and do a pep rally for them. So it was a fun partnership between JD Style Group, myself, the Minnesota Vikings, and the schools in our Students in Action program. And the school that has won that competition and that visit from the Vikings the past 2 years is with us tonight, Shakopee High School. So if I could invite representatives from Shakopee, and is Brad from the Saints here, or from the Vikings here yet? No? Okay, so Shakopee, why don't you come up and tell us a little bit more about what you did?
We're joining the group effort.
Yeah, you show me.
So as Tom said earlier, we are one of the student groups for Students in Action, and we're called LEAD, and we stand for Leaders in Education and Diversity. So we're one of those clubs at schools who not only educates our community, but also embraces the diversity of our community. So as Tom said, we participated in the Warm Method Challenge, where we competed a friendly competition with 10 other schools, and it was just a time where we chased to see who can get the most cans or who can get the most clothing. It was pretty much fun. It was amazing seeing young sophomores being able to give back to their community, and me as a senior, I'm not going to be there next year, so it was kind of nice seeing the leadership that was being taken apart. And I would like to thank Tom for giving us that opportunity and for giving us this platform to speak up about the social awarenesses of our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. All right, so those were the projects, the Lead 360 activation projects that happened in this community last year. I want to talk a little bit now about what's happening with Lead 360 going forward. The beginning of this year, we did do a contest. We asked for submissions from youth from all across the country to be sent in to our Lead 360 website. We had thousands of entries. Through our process at the Jefferson Awards, we narrowed it down to 15 finalists for 2016. And then the top 3 projects were chosen through an online voting system, and they're going to be announced and highlighted in New York City later tonight. However, one of those 15 finalists out of the thousands of entries was from a young woman who's with us tonight from from Blaine High School. Jenny win. So I want to recognize Jenny and her project, the fact that it got up to the finalist level, one of the top 15 in the country. And so I want to invite Jenny to come up here, receive her certificate, and tell us a little bit more about her project, Smile Cards. Oh, and by the way, because Jenny's project was a finalist, she gets a certificate and a Jefferson Awards Youth Service pin.
So first and foremost, I would like to thank Tom for inviting me to such a lovely event and to everyone who helped make today happen. Becoming one of the top 15 finalists in Lead 360's Big Idea submissions is one of the most incredible things that has ever happened to me. It is a great honor and a privilege to be chosen to have the Small Cards project be chosen from over 5,000 of other undoubtedly inspiring big ideas. Being attested myself within the peace and justice category has given me strength, confidence in myself, and the belief that I can make a difference in our community. How our Small Cards project first started was through our leadership meetings at Blaine High School. The thought of creating simple handmade cards for clients of the Meals on Wheels program, which is a nonprofit service that provides nutritious meals for people in need, has started this whole thing. I serve as an ICU and gift shop volunteer at Unity Hospital in Fridley, and was inspired by a nurse who did a simple act of kindness for a patient, as she got a card for the patient just to brighten their day. This small act made a lasting impact on me and made me realize that something so simple can make a beautiful difference. After making some connections between our leadership meetings and my encounter with the sweet nurse, I was given the opportunity to lead this card making project. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the many student volunteers who devoted their time in creating cards, and also for the other SAA students who has taken part in contacting organizations, delivering cards, and attending card making shifts. As leaders, we provide volunteers with service learning by incorporating different background knowledges of where the organization's cards are going to and how meaningful small acts of generosity can improve another's life. Many of those who receive our small cards are residents living in senior homes, and most of the residents living in senior homes don't happen to have visitors or family. According to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, statistics show that 25% of residents living in assisted living facilities have major symptoms of depression. Our cards enable them to have some sort of connection to those outside of where they live and hopefully create smiles and happiness within them. We send out a variety of cards to organizations such as assisted living facilities, hospitals, special needs and education programs, and even teachers and staff in our school. During this year, we were able to impact over 1,000 people in our community and engage over 300 students. As of this moment, we are getting a head start on our plan to create 3,000 holiday cards for people in Camp Friendship. Camp Friendship is a program that allows those with physical and mental disabilities to come together to meet new people and to also feel accepted. I would like to thank my hardworking and truly outstanding activities director, Julie Phillips. Without her guidance and encouragement, we wouldn't have been able to reach our full potential in making our small cards be where it is as of now. Next, my mom and dad, for always taking the time to drive me to and from my leadership meetings and also my volunteer shifts. Because of my dedication in providing service for our community, I often feel like I'm a burden to them. But you know, maybe I do create a heavy load on my parents. But to make the best experience for me, they're always willing to provide me with these opportunities to make a difference. And for that said, I'm so thankful. Lastly, I want to give a thank you to everyone who took a small part of their day between February 4th to February 15th in voting for the Smile Cards. Although I did not place first within the peace and justice category, I know in the end, with the help of others, I'm able to continue spreading smiles for miles throughout this world we live in. I plan to make connections with even more organizations of varying sizes and types, and to engage more students at our school, but also other elementary, middle, and high schools. I hope to expand to serve national and international organizations, either ourselves or by facilitating the connection between students throughout the whole nation with organizations that are local to them. And believe me, this is just the beginning of our journey. The act of our kindness through volunteering has allowed people of different ages, backgrounds, abilities, and current circumstances to become one. In the world, no matter how big the action, we can make a big difference. In the world we live in, it's important to recognize that it's not always about you. It's our job to serve those in need and to create a better environment. To dream and believe is what can inspire those around you, as there is no limits until you say no. To quote Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. I couldn't agree more. Through the Smile Cards Project and my future service, I hope to change the world one small card at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. That was amazing. It's great to hear where the passion comes from, and you can really tell that this is important to you. Let me again call to your attention, everyone in the room. On your table is the half sheet that talks about Smile Cards. And the group from Blaine High School actually brought supplies with